I'm Sir Flowbojan Thunderhammer.
And I'm Teflon Frosthammer.
And I'm Cabbage Tidehammer.
And this
is
WAK.
If Amtgard knighthood means anything, you can't knife a motherfucker and keep it.
And the thing that people need to understand essentially about arts and sciences events is that your scores don't matter.
Do you want a black phoenix or a white phoenix?
Jeez, language, man. We're on
right.
a freaking podcast, for fuck's sake.
Mind-blowing experience, right?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of WAKed, where we discuss topics important to the Kingdom of Winter's Edge, interview the Amtgard community at large, and talk with interesting people from around the foam fighting world. Why is this a special episode? Because this week we're doing a Wednesday release with Kodiak, the current Monarch of Dragonspine, and we are going to be on his show, Kingdom of Kodiak, in 2 hours or so?
Not even now. We lost some time to some technical difficulties, so about an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half or so.
Yep.
So, Kodiak, welcome to the show.
Again.
Thanks
for having me.
If we end up dropping internet connection again, we are going to continue on as if you're here and just have Teflon do like a Muppet voice story. Oh, I remember the last time. It's been bad today, folks. We've this is how we live.
We're all hanging in there.
Kodiak, so before you get into grilling us, how did you get into Amtgard?
Well, so I was hanging out with a bunch of my D&D friends. I'd never done any foam combat or anything like that. And they happened to have a desire to build very illegal Amtgard swords and go out into their field behind their apartment and hit each other. And I said the only way that I would do it is if they made me a orange lightsaber. And they did. So I went out there and beat on some nerds. And then like 2 weeks later, I found Amtgard and was like, I could definitely do this more often. And I thought I was going to be like this super awesome fighter. And then Sir Sane showed up and made me look silly. And here I've been since. And that was, 3 years ago last week.
Oh, wow.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, right? So your orange lightsaber, was it made with a lightsaber hilt as well, or was it just kind of looks like a lightsaber?
No, it was a lightsaber in the sense that it was omniblade. There was no flat sides,
Gotcha.
and all of it was strike legal because they only built weapons that had 2 strike legal sides.
Okay, cool.
So, and viewers at home can't see this, but you actually have an orange piece of garb hanging up behind you there. Is this like this became your personal colors? Or orange, or is that just a coincidence?
Orange is my favorite color. I've rocked orange since I was a wee lad. Mm-hmm. I got this commissioned by Dame Anna Bolee for my stepping up as a ducal monarch. And for anyone who knows me at all knows that the maze is solvable. There is a solution to it, and please come and ask to solve it.
You've thrown yourself under the bus with that. I don't know that we'll put that part in. You'll have people running up to you with,
So 3 years in Amtgard, and I'm going to go ahead and drop this live too, but I want to have you back on as the Monarch, or maybe even at that time leaving Monarch, of Dragonspine for our belt months. I think that it would be refreshing to have someone with a newer perspective on the game come and talk to us a little bit about their time in office. I don't want to talk to you about any of that in the roughly hour that we have today before we have to get off to cut this together. Is that about right?
Yeah, something like that. Hey, no. But if we are both outgoing monarchs by the time that comes around, because I certainly will be, and if you're an outgoing monarch, let's get hammered on a podcast together. Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
Okay, we can look forward to that. Anyway,
so I typically only drink twice a year, but yeah, I'll make a special occasion
once
out of it.
when we do the podcast. What's the other time?
GOTC. I usually drink at GOTC and turn my college Chris time on, or college Kodiak if you must. And then typically my birthday, I'll have a drink or two. But
okay,
gotcha.
That's fair. I'm hoping Clan comes back this year. There's so many people we've talked to that I'm like, I just got to go meet them. I'm going to get everybody there.
This is the first time that I'm actually kind of excited to go to a clan, side note, because of that. But so more to Kodiak. What started you with the Kingdom of Kodiak thing? Like, what was your driving motivation for it?
Yeah.
We had Sir Baihu was doing nightly chats every month or bi-monthly, and Sir Randall was doing Drinking with Randall, and that was more of him just talking to himself on a topic that jumped into his brain. So I wanted something that was a little bit more consistent. It was a couple weeks before the quarantine was actually going to start, so at the time I thought I was going to be doing it as like a little side project to go along with going to park and running the kingdom and whatnot. But with their permission, I stepped on both of those, took a monthly, nightly chat into my KOK, and then also random topics from Sir Randall. And yeah, it essentially started to be just another category for people to enjoy Amtgard and get to know each other. And now it's kind of the center point of our kingdom.
Oh, that's really
cool. And that's not a humble brag.
So what is one thing that you have learned from doing the types of media that you and that we have been doing recently with these podcasts? What's something fun and uplifting that you've learned about the people that you've been doing this with? Because I know that your show is very light and very funny. Everyone should go watch it. We'll have links to it in the description, probably.
Why I got to be attacked? I don't understand.
But yeah, what's something that you've learned that you really like?
No.
How do I?
I'm gonna pause it.
All right, so we had the internet drop there, and none of us really remember exactly where we were. So we'll find out whenever we're looking at the recording in just a moment. But my question to you, you've been doing Kingdom of Kodiak here. It's a very fun, light show. What's something that you've learned from some of your guests?
So no matter who I've had on Kingdom of Kodiak, you can hear a lot of passion for the game of Amtgard, and there's a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge that we get an opportunity to tap into, even if it's in a funny way. So getting to experience some of these personal stories from people about how they've come up in Amtgard or their opinions on tacos or what have you, at least we still get to have a stance of getting all these different interpretations and seeing a lot of passion. That would be probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, we've noticed the same thing. A lot of the people that we talk to, and we've touched on some things that are important to newer players, quite a few things from older players. A lot of really good conversations, but one of the things that we've noticed across all of them is that everybody is really, really invested in the game in their own way. I think one of the cool things that we've heard too is even if the game is starting to become stale or boring for you, with whatever you're doing, running for office or being one of the bigwigs in your local park or something like that, find some way to keep it fun. Like start trying ANS or do something completely different or totally invest yourself in battle games. There's so many different aspects of Amtgard, and people tend to kind of, pull back into what they're most comfortable with, I think. But one of the really cool things about the game is that you can really try out all of these new, different horizons and things that maybe you normally wouldn't be interested in. And a lot of them you can get into for not a lot of money.
So something you had said just a moment ago, too.
Yeah,
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, I totally agree. Also, through KOK, there's been a couple of people joining belt lines and stuff because now some more of the knights and squires are more familiar with more people. So as like an extension of growing belt lines, KOK has become a format to find the personalities you click with.
Oh, that's really interesting. I never really thought of it that way.
It's like Amtgard belt tender.
No.
We can't do that. So you mentioned this thing about finding out what people think about tacos. Now, we've already talked about Kingdom of Kodiak in a previous discussion, so we kind of know what's coming up. But tell our listeners who will hear this podcast and have, who might not know what's going on, what's kind of the format of your show? Because I understand there are some wacky questions that you can expect.
Well, yeah. So I typically start with the bare necessities, which we'll get into that later, I'm sure. But then we go to the fan base questions, which are the questions that have been asked every week since week 1, and they get different spins on them a little bit each time, but they've been asked every time, and we need to know the answers. And then I usually take the questions asked by my populace or my viewers and break it down into 2 categories for a non-knighted person, and then for a knighted person, they get the knighthood category added in. And then the last category is funny, which is where we get to the serious stuff. We got to know your stance on tacos versus hot dogs, and is cereal a soup versus oatmeal a stew. And I mean, you'll see soon enough. Those are going to be questions that are going to be thrown at you guys. But the whole point was to give everyone a chance to be funny and have a sense of humor, because we look at Amtgard has a way of looking at people with white belts as the goal, the echelon of all of Amtgard.
Right.
So getting them to laugh, and while also showing some of these populous members that most people may not run into on a regular basis, getting an opportunity to show that they have a humorous side or they have a skill or something like that. It's just the format allows for people to be whoever they need to be that day. That's what my goal was, at least.
Man, I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
So you had mentioned that you do nights like once a month, right? So when you're looking for people to interview overall on the non-night version, what are you looking for? Are you just looking for like anyone who says yes, or like are you looking for specifics or anything like that?
So early on, the format for KOK was I'm trying to do a theme for each month. And now it's kind of picked up steam to where if I post on the Dragonspine page or just post on my personal page, hey, I'm looking for people that want to come on KOK. I don't really care what you do in the game. We're going to figure that out together. It'll be fantastic. And also, I have a pretty cultish viewership. So they send me names all the time. Most of the time they're like, hey, I really like this person, and I'm not sure if you guys will flow super well in KOK, but I want to hear how they respond to some of the questions you'll pose to them. And then, yeah, it used to be very structured, and now it's not. It's I'll take whoever, but every 4th week is going to be a night, and that is a promise.
Okay, cool.
It's funny, we also went from something that was super, super structured when we started, where it was, we have X number of questions and we got to get to those questions, to now we do a 2-hour format. And I mean, we have a very loose idea of what we're going to talk about. When we have someone on, we do research ahead of when they come on. We look up their Amped Wiki page and find that it's horribly out of date. And, we'll ask them specific questions about some things that we know would be really fun to talk with them about. But early on, it was super, super structured, and it just didn't work. It comes across as very artificial and boring. Yeah. And it's a conversation that we've had now where we really want to have those people back on, and be able to talk to them in a much more relaxed environment where it really lets their personality shine through. Because in a strictly Q&A format, I think that it's hard to really get to know someone. You're only getting to know them through their the specific answers they give to the specific questions, instead of really giving them room to explore, right?
All right. So topic change.
All right.
Topic change real quick, if you could, for me. So I know that you got in, and it's a fairly common thing that people get their start through D&D, and that's what kind of appeals to this game for folks. But you had briefly mentioned, being interested in fighting, and maybe that kind of got beat out of you a little bit. What's in the game for you now? What is it that is it ANS? Is it leadership? Where are you going?
Well, I would, I mean, the Monarch of Dragonspine. I would hope leadership's in there somewhere.
And we're all very
Um,
sorry for you.
I am in a service and honor. I am in a service and honor household, the Order of the Ash. So we do a lot of volunteer work, and we do a lot of, well, we try to get as many feasts as we can, and fight well on the field with griffins. Um, I don't know. I don't think the sword's beaten out of me necessarily. It's just not my primary focus. I guess I would do it if, like, when Deverick Stormcrest moves back here from Colorado. He wants to start the skip program, which is the Sword Knight and Trading program. That's not a real thing. It's just something he wants to start, where we start working with people that are just slightly better than us and work our way up. I'll probably do that with him, but yeah, I'm not. I don't think it's beaten out of me. I'm very stubborn, so arts and science is probably the farthest away for me. My my art skills are lacking, but
I feel that.
I wouldn't shut any door on me, because I might get a wild hair and try everything.
Well, and so I had been talking to the guys about this recently, that I think that there's an underexplored part of arts and science that I could sell to you. So here's my sell. I think a lot of times when we look at arts and science in Amtgard, what we think of are people drawing or painting beautiful pictures, like the one that you have hanging behind you there, Mr. I don't do arts and science. Or we think of them doing garb, or something like that. But what we're missing is the science part of that, right? So here's my sell to you as someone who maybe hasn't done a lot of arts and science and stuff before. Picture doing things where you take some of the era-appropriate ingredients that were used to color fire by the mummers that would go around, and you do a presentation at a bardic or as part of one of the ANS competitions, and talk about how the mummers would put their show on and use these different ingredients to color the fire. You're talking about the science behind it. Or if that's not your flavor, you kind of break down something like trebuchets or ballistae or something like that.
Or, just make a Punch and Judy show, and then it's a different way to go about things.
But yeah, no, this kind of touches on what I was talking about before. There's so many things that you can do, even in one particular discipline like arts and sciences, that I think that given enough time, I could sell anybody on some portion of it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I wouldn't disagree that there's got to be some form of Amtgard arts and science that I would at least do well at, if not excel at. It's just a matter of, sure, I have a painting behind me that I did for a qual, but I did it because I had to qual. I didn't do it because I love painting. I love to cook, and so typically when we're allowed to do food entries, I'll do those. But yeah, paintings and garb and swordcraft and stuff like that's not. I do them because I want to be in office, because I came into Dragonspine when we had a very burnt out group of individuals who needed replacements, and
I feel that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, arts and science is there, and I'm sure there's a category I could take on, but I just haven't found it yet. We'll see.
That's fair. So you mentioned the Knight and Training program. Were you going to say something?
No, you're good.
You mentioned the Knight and Training program. Walk me through a little bit of what that is. You described it to us before, but I wanted to let the audience know. My understanding is that this is where someone that is better than you, or maybe a knight, kind of takes you under their wing and walks you through some what would be most beneficial for you at the time. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's, instead of going up to a sword knight and asking them, hey, you're possibly one of the best sword knights in the game, in the case of like Anatole or Xi'an or Sir Sane for Dragonspine people, teach me all of your ways and let me go from 1 to 10 without anything else. The skip program, or the Sword Knight and Training program, essentially says, try to find someone who's an order above you, or you feel is within your range of catching, but you haven't beaten consistently and take them as your mentor until you have superseded them or they have blown past you again, and then find another one. And essentially what it just creates these tier systems of training versus having to rely on a sword knight to teach you basic footwork and then also the high end fakes and double throws and stuff like that. You have, well, I'm going to learn footwork very early on with people who are going to grow with me. And then when I get to the point where I'm working on double fakes, hey, the sword knights are there. It removes some of the responsibility from the sword knight of, man, I'm really good at teaching one person. I really don't like teaching a whole bunch at a time. Or I only really like teaching my belt line because they're my belt line. The skip program just essentially just builds in a scenario where I can walk up to Quirt, a member of Dragonspine, Las Cruces, and go, hey, you're also a level 5 Order of the Warrior. Until I can beat you every time I fight you, you are my competition. And we'll both get bug-eyed and be like, that's really creepy, but that's life. And our skip program has us around a level 8 Order of the Warrior fighter by the name of Xander the Reaper, who could very easily be a sword knight. But the basis of it is we fight him, or we were fighting him pretty regularly. He's on the cusp of becoming a sword knight, and even though I said I don't really care about fighting, I beat him sometimes. So you know, it's the tier for us, I think. But yeah.
So let me pitch something to you, because this is something I turned in actually for a call a while ago. So as a running theme for me randomly, it's lift, play druid, or what's the third thing again?
It's lift, drink water, and play druid.
Right. So or disc golf, right? Disc golf's the other one. So one of the things in disc golf is a bag tag system. And basically what that is a long-running tournament that has orders. So if you have 10 people in the tournament, you have tags that are numbered 1 through 10. And so like once a week, you can challenge someone who is within, if it's 10, like 1 or 2 ranks above you, and they have to accept the challenge. So what I would put as a challenge potentially is to run something similar, because I think your Sword Knight and Training program could benefit from this as a internal tournament thing, to look at a way to quote unquote rank who's in it, and not in a malicious way or anything like that. It's still just hey, this is a fun thing to do also. And Lucas and Lauren made the mobile orc keychains out of these little plastic things that I think it was like $9 or $10 for like 50 of them.
Yeah, it's like if you want to put your kid's picture on your key ring or something.
Right, and so you can get the numbers and do seasons with those as well. I actually have the full write-up somewhere that Lucas might be able to put in the show comments or something like that.
No, we ain't got enough time for that.
But yeah, I think that's something that you guys could use really well as a thing inside the skip program type aspect.
Well, so the skit is the beginning of a whole different thing, and I mean, I don't want to act like I'm 20 steps ahead of you, but we're already working towards a wrestling theme at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Where
fuck yeah.
The bardics are going to be the interviews, and the call-outs are... Yeah, so we're already there. We're working on it, brother. We're working on it.
You know, brother,
Get it.
sometimes when I'm in the skip
I'm excited
program...
about what that...
If I'm willing to travel, will you let me be your Paul Heyman?
Can you give me your best Paul Heyman right now?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Absolutely.
No, I'm gonna go on as Kodiak's Paul Bear.
fuck.
Oh yes, Kodiak will destroy you.
Right. We cannot. The WWE is very litigious. We can't keep using their IP.
Allegedly, we were allegedly using their IP.
Yeah.
No, I think that sounds great, man. I think a structure like that is cool for anything. Whether you were doing it for A&S and you wanted to talk to someone who was a few orders above you in that, or fighting, or anything. I think Crown, because we have crown points now. and I'm really showing my age by saying that. I think that a structure, a mentoring program like that is really, really important, regardless of the discipline. And I really applaud Dragonspine for and whoever originally came up with that for moving forward with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, again, Deverick is part of Iron Mountains right now, but he's a Dragonspiner through and through. He left for the army, restationed and whatnot.
Right.
But yeah, I've got to give him full credit for that. That's Deverick original.
So, we're nearing time where we have to actually show up on your show. Do you have a story or a funny story to kind of end us for this? To give us a little bit of time to go ahead and cut and then get ready for your show as well.
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is going to be so. I want before you start your show.
Yeah,
I kind of want to give. I'm sorry. I wanted to give everybody kind of a backstory here. So I think at the beginning of this we said it was going to be about an hour. We're at somewhere around 30 minutes now.
Man. I thought we were a lot longer. That's my bad.
Yeah, no, it's okay. We have. So I want to get into story time. We have actually had the internet drop, I think, four times so far. We have our studio door open now, and the 24-degree weather is pouring in and freezing. So
a studio door is a lot like a garage door in that the studio is Flo's garage.
It is, yeah. So I do want to see if we can still make it the whole hour, and I want to start story time because I think you have some great stories there. But I wanted to kind of give everybody a heads up on what's caused some of the weirdness in this episode is we just kept on having internet drops, and we reached a point where we were like, you know what, we're just going to come back in and start asking questions again. So do you have a fun or funny story to share with us?
Yep, of course I do. I'm going to tell you the story of the origin of the bare necessities, because you guys need to get prepared to come on KOK.
Please.
If you could imagine 7 individuals cramming into a small 8 or 10 person van with all their equipment to make an 8-hour trip to Yuma from Las Cruces, New Mexico, in an attempt to make a day trip out of it. So we're going to drive for 16 hours. We're going to fight, eat, and leave again. We're driving, a lot of music. There were some burritos thrown at people because there was 27 burritos or something made for the trip, and Deverick, Stormcrest, and myself decided we were going to start in on the bear puns, and we got about an hour on the way back when one of our people that were riding with us, named Sin, said, "If you say one more bear pun, I'm going to kill you both." And Sin is a very quiet man, so upon hearing this, the rest of the van goes, "Challenge accepted." And everyone started doing these bear puns. And I'm sorry. And then I said, "Sin, I'm sorry. It's a bare necessity." And that's where the intro to Kingdom of Kodiak comes from, the bare necessities. I apologize every week to Sin for it, but here we are.
And how long ago was this?
Oh, let's see. I've been playing for 3 years. The last year of this existence in Amgard didn't happen because of COVID 2 years ago. So I was relatively new. Sin and I had hung out maybe 3 times before we took off.
That sounds rather accurate. If that was 2 years ago, when did Kingdom of Kodiak start?
Yeah.
So when you guys come on today, you will be the 43rd consecutive week of Kingdom of Kodiak.
Oh, wow.
God.
So we are 9 weeks short of a year.
Nice.
We're like a little baby podcast.
So did you start this with the start of your first monarchy term?
No. I had lost a run for monarchy and became a pro tem GMR.
Okay.
But I was looking for a way to get Dragonspine connected, and it's been something that's been pretty traditional in Dragonspine, is that it's far enough away where we don't feel there's a lot of interconnection.
Right.
So I started doing a show where we could start talking to players.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Sounds kind of sort of similar to how we did it.
A little
with our
bit,
start.
yeah.
Let's see. Dragonspine 2 has... you guys have just recently had a new group. Speaking of the kingdom being very wide... I'm making motions with my hand and realize that we don't have our camera on, so you can't see it. That the kingdom is very wide or very large. You have a group that is kind of sort of a member of another kingdom, maybe? That you're kind of sort of thinking about acquiring? Have I understood that correctly?
Well, Sir Flo, just slightly different. There is a park that left our kingdom last year that is in the largest populous part of Arizona. 71% of the entire population resides in this park's metro area. And we are trying really hard to work with the kingdom that they're currently in to see if we can get a park somewhere in that area that's not 40 miles away, because we have a player that's moving from the East Coast to this metro area. I'm trying to be very vague. I don't know if it's coming across that way or not.
We don't know anything about your kingdom's
the player from the
politics,
East Coast wanted-
so I feel totally comfortable bringing up all of this dirt, because all I have is like rumors and things that I've seen online. So.
be within too close of a distance of the other kingdom's new park, which was formerly our park. So you were close, Sir Flo, but not exactly what was going on.
Okay.
There we go. So I thought of a fun thing for us to do here. You get to ask silly questions on your show. So we are going to ask you some silly questions. And we unfortunately don't have this long history of questions to pull from or a cool story. So neither of my co-hosts knew that we were going to be doing this until I just now said it. I will go first and give them a chance to come up with their own.
The only ones I can think of are so fucked up, I don't know that we can say them on the show.
No, we definitely... Oh, wait, with you? Maybe not.
Dog.
So I'm going to ask my question for you first. And I feel like this question really will define you as a person.
I am so scared of whatever the fuck you're about to say right now.
When it comes to your choice of restaurants, are you more of an O'Charlie's type person, an Applebee's type person, Tex-Mex? You know, what kind of restaurant is your favorite kind of restaurant? Maybe that's a better way to ask that.
Oh.
Not your favorite kind of food, your favorite kind of restaurant.
Okay, this one's got... All right. Well, there's only one correct answer here, unfortunately, and it's my biases as someone from Western New York growing up. Spoilers, I'm not homegrown New Mexican. I'm from Western New York. And back home, there's a sub shop, and it's just called Ed's. And it has barbecue chicken finger subs with blue cheese on them. And it's 2 dining room tables, and that's it. You can't do any. So small would have to be part of it. The food has to be good. I don't care what kind of food it is. But Ed has known me since I was 11. I'm 37 right now, and he's been doing the same thing for 26 years. So tradition. I'm also, because I'm from Western New York, wings are a big deal. So if they don't have good wings, I probably don't eat there.
Yeah, that's fair.
I get a lot of flack down here because I give a lot of critique to the wings in New Mexico. I think the list of places that I would eat is shorter if we go with places that I don't eat at. So I don't eat at places where I have to put a tie on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I won't eat at a place where I have to present a business plan or something like that. Like if I have to be sophisticated, I'm not there. I think that's my golden rule for eating. If I have to put a tie on or have to be a sophisticate, I'm not eating there.
My man.
Yeah. Right. All right, and now we're going to have to meet up in New York sometime, and you're going to have to take us on a food tour up there.
Oh, dog, I love New York. I'm down.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
I
Not a
grade your
problem.
choice in
Not a
restaurants A+.
Kiss ass.
Not quite an S
Oh, fuck
or
off.
S- or S+, but really, really high up
We
there.
got to quit playing League.
All right. So, Teflon, what do you got?
What's the best class in Amtgard and why is it Druid? I don't know.
Well, it's Druid. Druid is the most versatile class. It has the most opportunities to be whatever you want to be in it, and the best way to balance Amtgard is by making Druid not as good as it is and removing Ranger. But that's my opinion, and no one else is going to follow that. Druid allows you to take care of yourself, which is my build. I am a selfish Druid. It was my first class. It was the first one I got to 6. It's the one I play almost every week. Even with leveling other things, like Druid is my baby. It fits my persona the best. Yeah. Teleporting barbarians and throwing ice balls, and then also having a bunch of like self-heal. I'm for it.
All right, so I'm going to give this one a really low grade, but I want to tell you why. It's because you're wrong. Barbarian is actually the best class in Amtgard, and it is because all classes...
Dude, your own co-hosts don't agree with you on that one.
And they're wrong. It is because all classes are actually just Barbarian. Every single one of them.
So we're taking the Wall Baron approach.
We are. Wall Baron, if you're listening to this, shout out to you, but all classes are just Barbarian.
Well, Sir Full, that would be fair considering Barbarian has nothing. So if you start from 0, anything added onto it would be greater than 0. So yes.
That's right. It's
Barbarian
only up
is
for
the
us.
basis of all classes.
It's only up for us. Assassin, sneaky Barbarian. Paladin, holy Barbarian.
It's just a barbarian with clean fucking garb.
Scout,
So Wizard
Sophisticated
is if
barbarian.
barbarians learn to read?
Yes.
Yeah, basically. All right. I'm going to float you one, and I legitimately was like trying to figure out what to ask because all of mine are
he had his
horribly-
phone pulled out, and I'm thinking he was looking up questions.
I just had to find one that didn't start with like, okay, you've got to fuck 2 people. Like we can't start there. Okay, so pick one cinematic universe to make real. So that means like Jurassic Park or Indiana Jones or Ghostbusters.
All of these are nightmares.
No, the first one is great.
You have a Jurassic Park cover on your Jeep. You're out of the question.
Jumanji.
Okay. It's my turn. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Deverick, I'm sorry. It's Naruto.
Oh no!
It's Naruto.
no.
I will. Yeah. 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 That's what it is.
I wasn't expecting
wanna
an
be a
anime,
ninja.
but I'm cool with it.
Would you guys be the hidden maze village?
The village hidden in the corn.
Oh yeah, that fits
But we just
perfect.
call them the Children of the Corn.
village hidden
Then.
in the maze. Yeah.
Yeah, that would. All of your little ninjas in training would be the children of the corn.
Your God. Fuck. I can't.
I don't disagree.
I want to make this a thing now. I want to make Dragonspine Naruto garb for all of the kids.
It's
out
just a
there, too.
headband with a cornstalk on it.
Yeah, that's exactly a real cornstalk. Hot glued too, not sewn on in any way.
I don't endorse this. I can't.
Nope. I also do not endorse this.
Yeah, you wouldn't, Druid.
Oh, fuck.
So
I know. I have taste. Barbarian.
hey. Furs are always in. And the best thing about it is, if you've grown the barbarian correctly, he can never take them off.
Oh no!
So the
Sounds like you're just speaking to a hygiene problem. But
this is all of Amtgard is a hygiene problem. I don't know what that means.
We stand no chance on Kingdom of Kodiak Flow.
Oh, we're so fucked.
Oh no! I want you to. I think that timeline-wise, this is either going to post while we're on Kingdom of Kodiak or shortly after. But I really want you to roast Cabbage in particular. He was talking shit about Kingdom of Kodiak and everybody on it right before we started.
100%, like it was bad.
Yeah,
fuck it. I'm muting both of you. Hold on. They're telling lies. I have legitimately muted them. Stop laughing. They can hear it. They're full of shit. Please be nice. I'm going to unmute you, and you better be nice.
you guys have a distinct feature to KOK is that there will be 3 of you answering the questions. So I won't be able to hone in on any of you, but Sir Flo, you are definitely a target at this point.
Oh, yes.
Before you mentioned the barbarian thing. Since you asked so nicely, I'll roast Cabbage too.
So since we've been talking about like silly class stuff, do you have a battle game that is kind of like your favorite style of battle game to play? Capture the Flag or Phoenix League? I don't know if you guys do Phoenix League there, but like I kind of wanted to turn this to something fun to look forward to once we're able to start meeting again.
Yeah. Well, the answer wouldn't be Phoenix League. I do not like Phoenix League at all. And if I was asked to give that why answer, I could, but it's not eloquent at all. I like capture the flag games. I like shatter games. I like games. I would just, if we could have an entire park day dedicated to not ditching and winners or losers, I'm there for it. I'll play any game anyone asks. I'm just a really big kid. I'm 6'4", 270, 37 years old, but I'm a 12-year-old. I just want to go have fun and play and be super tired, and then go roll some dice at the table in between games.
I was really hoping you were going to say go home and take a nap, because other than the that's almost me to a T. I'm a big 12-year-old, and then I'm going to go home and take a nap. See you guys.
Yeah, I lined up pretty close on the 6'4". It's the 270 part we're a little off on. But
no, Saturdays are a busy day. I go to park at 11:15. Our park starts at 12. I usually have food set up and try to help with the battle games being ready by the time people get there. I leave at 4. I'm usually one of the last ones to leave. I get an hour to eat, an hour to hang out with some friends in Afgard, and then I have game night. So I don't have time to sleep.
Busy man.
So, question for you there. You said that you get there a little early and you set up food and stuff. Do you guys, just for a regular park meeting, do you guys bring food out for everybody?
So Sir Randall, you may know him.
Yeah, he's okay.
Started a tavern theme at our yeah he's all right. He's better than most, some would say.
Not quite a barbarian.
He started a tavern theme, and I took on the role of the. Well, I mean, he wants to excel at something. So he wanted. I wanted to be a bumbling idiot in his tavern. So I would post weekly to our local page that I was bringing food, but it would be some event of chaos that made it happen. An example of this would be one time I made pickled eggs. And the explanation to that was we had to get rid of the dragon fairies that were in the barn, so I burned the barn down. And, hey, they had kids. Well, now we have dragon eggs. And no one ate them. No one liked them. Sir Francis had one of them, but I took the rest home. Apparently pickled eggs weren't something people were into.
Jesus.
But furthering the question, yeah, during that entire reign, every week of that reign, I brought food out to the park. And then everyone started bringing food. And it was essentially a feast every week at Dragonspine Las Cruces.
See, that's really cool for multiple reasons. And one of the reasons that gets touched on the show quite a bit is that this was one person doing a thing that was ostensibly started as kind of a funny joke thing and then grew into this really cool thing that everybody or a lot of people are doing now that brings benefit to your park.
I mean, DH actually does some of that, not on a necessarily a weekly basis, but they have DH food days, which I think was monthly. I don't remember. Also, COVID put a smash into everything, so I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah,
but it's a big thing, guys. Like, it doesn't even have to be food or something. Like, you as one person can take something and make it meaningful for your park and kingdom. It just takes a little bit of drive. Like, you don't need the kingdom's permission per se, unless you're like using big space or something like that at an event or whatever. But like, do your shit, man. Don't save it. Don't like just kind of sit on it. You can do it whenever you want.
Yeah, it actually speaks to something that was made during that tavern theme, which was the Dragonspine game now, not just the park level, the kingdom level, and we've passed it. We've passed it to the Iron Mountains, and we've got it to Neverwinter, just by order of the Ash members. But it's called Drum Dice, where you get a hand drum and put it on the table, and you roll 4 dice on top of it, and you bet fake coins. And if your dice falls off it, your turn's over. But there's a whole bunch of strategic stuff, and it was we made it to kind of fit into the theme. And now, if you go to a Dragonspine event and there isn't a game of drum dice going on, something's wrong.
God, one of the things I want to do so bad is like make random board games and stuff like that, just to bring to events as like a downtime thing. So like, I 100% need the rules and setup for drum dice like right now, basically.
Man, I need to work on cards.
You do.
That's not a problem. I think I'm the one person that has them written down. So
Okay, that makes it almost better that they're not really written down, that I can just make up my own, but I need the base of it anyway.
What are the rules? Oh, the rules are this, said confidently and totally changed from the last time they were explained.
Yeah.
It's interesting you bring that up, because when it made it to Iron Mountains, one of the alternate rules we have is called the Coward's Rule, where if there's an opportunity to get a payout and you don't pick it up, you're a coward, and you get called a coward. So that became, in the Iron Mountains at least, that was a mandatory rule, that if there was an opportunity for a success and you didn't buy into it, you were a coward and forever known as a coward.
Oh.
Ooh, I like that silly stuff. This is amazing.
Oh man, can we make a game? Could the 4 of us like do a board game? I think that'd be really cool, or a game that could be played at events.
That sounds like a really cool another segment.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, Kodiak. We are going to work, and we're going to create a game. It's not going to be cool like the game that you just now mentioned. This one is going to be a much better game, a game involving barbarians in some way. And really, no, I think that this would be really fun to do. We should come up with a fun, silly board game that people can play at events, or dice or cards or something. I do quite a bit of board gaming. So does Teflon. It sounds like you have a whole gaming group that you go visit too. So we should do this. We'll call it the name.
Previous to my attempts at becoming.
Sorry, this was a right away thing because there's a little bit of lag. The name of the board game is going to be called The Kingdom of Kodiak.
Oh God, I love it. I hate it, but I love it so much.
I gotta go.
Oh, man. That'll pair really well with the supposed merch that's coming out of KOK. I have some viewers that are like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm making KOK shirts out of your quotable quotes." Oh, great. I was only going to suggest that if we're going to make a game with barbarians, it has one square to the left and one square to the right, and both of them is you lose. But sorry. Go ahead.
No, I totally agree. I think that's a good basis for the game because the barbarian is, of course, going to continue going straight forward, which is always the correct direction.
So much barbarian shade.
Yeah. The game is called The Path of the Barbarian. It's a straight line. It's just a straight line, and anytime you try to take a turn, you lose.
We are
just
rapidly
keeps going
approaching.
forward.
We're just reinventing the field sobriety test. You realize that, right?
Okay, I know what the game is. I know what the game is.
It's a field sobriety test. Say
No,
your
no, no.
alphabet backwards, bud.
No, so this
Now
is
walk this straight line.
This is a completely verbal game that we're playing, and it's called Path of the Barbarian. Kodiak gets credit for the name, and this is the way that it's played. No matter what is said or asked of you, you have to spin it into something that a barbarian would do or say. So someone could tell you to do something horrible. I need you to go over there and slaughter this village. We really have needed this land over here for more crop sharing and more barbarians too. I agree. It is good to forcibly relocate these people. Or they might have you do something good, like, hey, it would be really good if you would go donate some food to this group over here. Oh, yeah. No, I agree. Donating food would be good there. And then killing them to get that food back so we could donate it again would make it twice as good.
It's like the Corrupt-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, yeah. Just to give the barbarian an opportunity to be the best at something, because everything's a positive spin. Sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I like where your head's at. See, I told you he'd come around to my way of thinking. Okay. We are almost at an hour now, and we've managed to make it through, I think, almost 25 minutes without the internet dropping, which I consider a miracle.
It's a major win today.
So I want to ask you, right before we hop off to come on your show, do you have anything that you would like to say in closing to the people of Winter's Edge? This was kind of a quick introduction to you. Guys, seriously, go check out Kingdom of Kodiak, not just because we're going to be on there, but mostly because we're going to be on there. And the show is great. He has a lot of fun guests and good episodes, and it lets you learn a little bit more about the greater Amtgard community, which is one of the big things that we're trying to push with our show as well. So, Kodiak, do you have anything that you want to close us out with?
Yeah, a couple things actually. For anyone in Neverwinter, if you want to come on KOK, just reach out. I'm up at all hours doing all sorts of things. Surf Logan, sorry for reaching out last night at an odd hour. Secondly, for everyone, if you've seen Sir Smiley or Sir Francis or Cato's post or my post, we are working together to do a fundraiser for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and we're putting at risk our facial hair in order to reach these goals. As of this recording, which is less than 24 hours into the fundraising, we have got $500, which means in a month's time, just over a month, this beard will be gone, because at $500, my beard was the first thing to go.
What is the highest goal
if you
there?
could reach out if you have opportunity. $4,000 will get you all of our hair.
So I'm going to.
That's Sir Smiley, Sir Francis, Cato, and myself.
I'm going to pose to Sir Flo because he has a fantastic beard. If we can get it to 5,000, you shave that whole thing off. I just want to find out if you have a chin.
I've been trying to grow out my
But it's $5,000 for St. Jude.
If we can get $5,000 for St. Jude through this fundraiser, I will shave. I will go and do a face reveal to Amtgard. Everybody knows what I look like. I'll go on live and I will shave my beautiful beard off for everyone. So please add that if you can make the adjustment, add that to it. Flows in at the $5,000 mark.
I can do this. I can reach out to Sir Smiley, who's the one heading the project, and thank you for that. And if you're hearing this, hopefully the link is in the description for this.
Hopefully
it will be. Yes,
please. And if you have any financial ability to do it, please help out. It's something we can do as a community of Amtgarders that can help out people that aren't Amtgarders, which is should still be our goal at the end of it. But
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, Kodiak. This was a whole lot of fun. Lucas, you want to roll us out?
Yep, I'll go ahead and roll us out, and we'll be on Kingdom of Kodiak very soon. Hey everyone, thanks for listening. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on YouTube or Spotify to get notified about new episodes. And make sure to follow us on Facebook for announcements and more.